They told us early, make your money work for you. We believed it. We clung to it. We imagined a future where one smart decision would set us free. Just invest a little, let time do the rest, and boom, financial freedom, passive income, no worries. But no one warned us how brutal the beginning would feel, how boring, how discouraging. Because the truth is, compound interest is powerful but painfully slow at first, and that's where most people give up. The flawed advice. We all hear, there's this idea we all get sold, that if you just start young, stay consistent, and be patient, you'll be rich. It's kind of true, but only if you have all the pieces of the puzzle. Time alone is not enough. Patience alone is not enough. Even consistency alone is not enough. We need to go deeper, because right now, millions of people are doing the right things and still not getting the results they hoped for. 3. The numbers don't lie. Let's look at the math. It doesn't lie. If you invest $200 per month at 7% annually, in 10 years you'll have about $34,000. Not bad, but not life-changing either. You sacrificed dinners out, said no to vacations, skipped coffee shops, and for what? A used car? That's where the disappointment begins. People feel like they followed the rules and got nowhere. But that's only because they don't understand where the curve actually starts to bend. 4. Maya's mistake. Let me tell you a story. Maya started investing at 24. She lived lean, put away $300 every month. She was consistent, disciplined. After 10 years, she had $55,000. She looked at the number and felt deflated. I gave up so much for this? She thought compound interest would carry her to wealth, but all it gave her was a slightly thicker cushion. Then she stopped, pulled out her money for a down payment. Investing doesn't work, she said. But here's the tragedy. She quit 3 steps before the exponential growth kicked in. 5. The formula. Most people ignore. Here's what most people don't understand. Compound interest isn't magic, it's math. And math needs a formula to work. Wealth equals capital X, 1 plus return. Time. If any one of those variables is weak, the results suffer. If your capital is low, if your returns are mediocre, if your time is cut short, then the machine won't work. People try to solve this with patience, but patience without volume is like planting seeds in sand. 6. What Buffett really did. So why does everyone praise compounding? Because it works, for those who do it right. Warren Buffett didn't just invest early, he started at 11 and didn't stop. He compounded aggressively for over 70 years. He also reinvested every dollar he earned, and he never cashed out early. That's the secret. No interruptions, no withdrawals, no chasing shiny objects. Buffett didn't get rich in his 30s. He became ultra-wealthy in his 50s and 60s because that's when compounding went vertical. 7. Time beats volume, most of the time. Let's compare 2 investors. Anna starts investing $500 a month at age 25 with an 8% return. She does it for 40 years. Ben starts 10 years later at age 35 but doubles the amount. $1,000 a month at the same return. Guess who ends up with more? Anna. Why? Because time is a multiplier. The earlier dollars get more time to grow, and time is more valuable than contribution. Ben puts in more, but Anna started the snowball earlier, and that made all the difference. 8. Front-loading capital, the wealth hack. But even with early starts, small amounts still feel small. That's why the most effective way to hack compound interest is to front-load your capital. Let's say you invest $50,000 at 10%. You don't touch it for 25 years. That becomes over $540,000. Now, compare that to someone investing $200 a month for the same period. They'll end up with about $237,000. Same time, same return, different capital, different outcome. Compounding rewards size, not just discipline. 9. Why most people get stuck. Here's the hard truth. Most people don't stop investing because they're lazy. They stop because they don't see results, and it's not their fault entirely. The first 10 or even 15 years of consistent investing can feel like treading water. You're doing everything right, but it feels like nothing is happening. That's because compound interest doesn't reward the early. It rewards the persistent. You only get exponential growth at the end of the curve, if you survive the flat beginning. 10. The 3 levers of financial acceleration. So, if compound interest is a slow machine, how do the wealthy speed it up? They understand 3 levers. 1. Higher returns. 2. More capital. 3. Leveraging time. They don't rely on one, they combine all 3. They seek smarter investments, inject bigger amounts earlier, and let time multiply everything. That's how someone can catch up in 10 years what others won't reach in 40. (11) The income gap. Between investors. Let's say person A invests $200 a month for 40 years. Person B invests $5,000 upfront and nothing else. And person C invests $20,000 once, then $500 a month for 10 years. Guess who ends up with the most? It's not person A, despite having the longest horizon. It's person C, because capital accelerates growth. You can't win the compound interest game by saving pennies forever. Eventually, you need to increase your volume or risk falling behind. 12. How the wealthy think about time. Rich people don't just think in years, they think in decades. But more importantly, they value early action more than prolonged effort. They know that $100,000 invested at 25 is more powerful than $1,000 a month starting at 40. Time compounds what's already there. So they focus on getting capital in early, not just waiting and hoping. It's not about being perfect. It's about being early, being consistent, and being bold. 13. The real role of patience. Yes, patience matters. But patience without contribution is just hope. You don't build wealth with hope. You build wealth with intentional action, meaningful capital, and a strategy. If you only have time and discipline, but not income, you'll need to wait 50+ years. If you add capital and returns, you could cut that in half. Patience is only powerful when paired with strategy. 14. What to do if you're starting small. What if you're only able to invest $100 or $200 a month right now? You have 2 jobs. 1. Build the habit. Start now, no matter how small. It's the foundation. 2. Increase your income. Learn skills. Take on side projects. Build something valuable. The habit teaches you discipline. The income increases your fuel, and when the 2 meet, that's when compounding starts to accelerate. 15. A simple plan to multiply your capital. Here's a 4-step roadmap if you're starting from scratch. 1. Cut noise. Eliminate unnecessary expenses that don't bring ROI. 2. Upskill. Learn 1 high-income skill this year. Copywriting, coding, design, ads, sales. 3. Create value. Freelance. Launch a service, build a product. 4. Reinvest aggressively. Don't inflate your lifestyle. Build your base. The faster you can get to a 10K, 50K investable pool, the sooner compound interest becomes real. 16. The game most never play. This isn't just about money. It's about ownership. Ownership of time. Ownership of opportunity. Ownership of freedom. Most people work for 40 years hoping for comfort. The wealthy build a system that works for them. In the background, they treat compound interest like a machine that grows wealth while they sleep. But they also know the machine needs fuel, and it needs time. If you give it both consistently, it'll do more for you than any job ever could. 17. Income. First, then compound. Too many people reverse the order. They start investing before they've stabilized income. But here's the hard truth. You can't build a mountain if your shovel is the size of a spoon. Yes, $100 a month is a good start, but $1,000 a month accelerates the curve. That's why your first goal shouldn't be returns. It should be increasing your cash flow. Wealthy people focus first on how much they earn, not just where they put it. Because income gives you control, margin, and choice. And with more choice, you make better investments. (18) The high income skill multiplier. What changed my game wasn't finding the perfect ETF or timing the market. It was learning one skill that people were willing to pay a lot for. Whether it's writing, editing, design, sales, public speaking, coding, operations, skills are the fastest return on investment assets in the world. $500 invested in a course that improves your skill can increase your income by $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 more per year. Now you have more to invest. Skills feed compound interest. That's why millionaires often say the best investment is the one you make in yourself. 19. Think in systems, not just savings. Saving alone won't make you rich. It protects you, but it won't build wealth. Systems do. A side business that runs itself. A rental property with positive cash flow. A product that sells 24/7. These are wealth engines. They don't require constant time. They create income without direct input. Once you have a system producing profit, you can pour that into your investments. That's how the game really changes. Most people trade time for money. The wealthy build systems that multiply money without more time. Chapter 20. The mistake of chasing big returns. Here's where many fall. They hear that 12% is better than 8%, and they start gambling. Crypto, penny stocks, random startups, get-rich-quick traps. But here's the rule. Returns mean nothing if the risk erases the gains. You want consistency, not chaos. You want scalable income, not lucky strikes. The wealthy don't chase big wins. They protect their base, grow it steadily, and let compound predictability win over time. 21. Final thoughts. The invisible shift. Here's what no one tells you. The real reward of compound investing isn't money. It's identity. You become the person who delays gratification, makes smart decisions, thinks long-term, takes ownership. That's what really changes your life. The millions are just a reflection of who you became. If this made you think, just wait for what's coming next. Because there's a hidden part of the financial system that very few people understand, and that's where the wealthy truly play with an advantage. Want to know what that blind spot is? Click the next video. We didn't reveal it here for a reason.